Welcome to April 17th, 2026. The Singularity now ships on a schedule. Anthropic released Claude Opus 4.7, a notable improvement at the midpoint between Opus 4.6 and the not yet public Mythos preview, the decimal triangulating an unreleased frontier. Internally, the horizon is even closer. Nearly a third of Anthropic's staff expect Mythos to replace entry-level engineers and researchers in 3 months, a private poll doubling as a public leading indicator. The state is pricing it in. The White House OMB is setting up protections to route Mythos into major federal agencies in the coming weeks, acknowledging cybersecurity risk because not adopting it is scarier. Meanwhile, OpenAI unveiled GPT-Rosalind, a frontier reasoning model built for biology, drug discovery, and protein engineering, named for a researcher whose entire career it could eclipse before lunch. Automation is generating its own exhaust. NIST is restructuring CVE handling after AI-driven submissions drove a 263% spike in vulnerability reports from 2020 to 2025, triaging down to known, exploited, and federally relevant bugs. What AI breaks, AI must also guard. Google is reportedly in talks with the Pentagon to deploy Gemini in classified environments, rebuilding the military ties it once pointedly severed. Gemini is also getting a body. Boston Dynamics Spot now runs on Google DeepMind's Gemini Robotics E R1.6, fusing embodied reasoning with robotics' most iconic quadruped. OpenAI answered Anthropic's co-work with a codex update that operates your computer alongside you and remembers your preferences, promoting the IDE from autocomplete to coworker. And the corporate dead are being strip-mined. Defunct startups are now liquidated for their Slack archives, Jira tickets, and email threads as premium training data, reincarnating failed companies as weights. The silicon layer continues to compound. TSMC expects over 30% revenue growth this year in dollar terms. Cerebras is filing to go public at a $35 billion plus valuation, backed by a $20 billion 3-year compute deal with OpenAI that also grants OpenAI warrants scaling with spend, collapsing the line between customer and owner. xAI, not content to train its own models, is becoming a cloud provider, with Cursor reportedly training Composer 2.5 on tens of thousands of its GPUs. The human sensorium is becoming an API. Researchers have induced artificial smells via 300 kHz focused ultrasound aimed at the olfactory bulb. No cartridges required, making olfaction a software call. California startup Sabi is developing a thought-to-text EEG beanie that reads internal speech and pipes it to your device, compressing the gap between having a thought and having typed it. South Korean researchers uncovered a remotely controlled in vivo gene switch responsive to electromagnetic fields, with CYB5B as the EMF sensor, giving biology a wireless on button. After all this engineering, nature keeps revealing hidden grammars. Project CET finds that sperm whale codas resemble human vowels acoustically and pattern like them linguistically, one of the closest parallels to human phonology in any animal system, meaning our first uplift candidate was fluent all along. Capital is chasing the build-out. Alphabet is poised for a $100 billion windfall from the SpaceX IPO via its remaining 5% stake after the xAI merger. Hyperscaler CapEx has already surpassed the inflation-adjusted cost of the Apollo program, the interstate highway system, and the Marshall Plan at the equivalent project age, making data centers America's largest peacetime build. Taiwan's market cap crossed $4 trillion, overtaking the UK in a civilizational swap measured in silicon. The UK, repricing on a different axis, is asking households to consume more during renewable peaks, running dishwashers and charging EVs when wind and solar overshoot demand, inverting decades of conservation rhetoric into abundance choreography. The U.S. established a first-of-its-kind 4,000-acre high-tech manufacturing special economic zone on Luzon in the Philippines with diplomatic immunity and U.S. common law, aimed at China-proof automated supply chains. Meanwhile, Snap is cutting 16% of its workforce to chase AI margins, and Myzium's shares more than doubled on an AI pivot straight out of the Allbirds playbook. Tensions beneath the boom are harder to ignore. After the Molotov cocktail attack on Sam Altman's house, OpenAI policy chief Chris Lahane warned that AI doomers are playing with fire, calling it really serious ST. Meanwhile, some secrets are apparently outliving their keepers. The White House vowed to investigate 10 U.S. scientists, engineers, and military leaders recently gone missing or found dead, with the president noting, "Some of them were very important people," and promising clarity in a week and a half. The Singularity ship's point releases faster than civilization can debug itself.